got it working now.
Do one at a time.
There we go.
Well, I think
So I want her to understand that just because she comes forward does not mean that she comes in with the left shoulder. She's got to direct her energy out and forward. And a lot of these purebred Parisians really struggle with forward energy. They really do. They don't know how to get the energy to come up and over the top line. Again, step in the rib cage, and go forward, step in the rib cage. So she also had probably been used to the type of lunging that they did with her, which was do whatever you want, just the things up. But when we go to properly lunge, because you want to help the horse's body, well now that's not very helpful. And when you want to do ridden work, it's like, okay, well now you have to have this ritual of letting the horse run like a maniac at the end of a lunge run before you can get on it. Which is also not super helpful, because sometimes you just want to be able to get on and go. She also, a lot of this, is a fear of a bit of a lack of balance. So she lacks the balance, so she sort of loses the desire to go forward and wants to just turn. So I'm going to try to help her. Yeah. And I'm trying not to do too much on a small circle. I'm going to walk with her for right now, because she's not quite ready to come around me. She really right now needs somebody to hold her hand a little bit. before we stick 2 lines on there with the long lines, I want to make sure that we can go nice and forward and not up, because that's definitely going to be a problem if you have a line around the bike. But the process of starting them under saddle, really it helps if you have the long lines, because you can teach them to steer that way. She just really lacks confidence in that energy. All right, well, let's work at that then. So if I find that doing something from farther away isn't working, I'm going to go back to closer up. We're just going to walk over here. So that's probably what she did when she broke her foot. She jumped on top of you, didn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, she went sideways
Yeah.
right into me.
towards the door. So she's slowly trimming the circle smaller and smaller and smaller to get back to the door. Why does she want to go to the door? Because her friends are outside. She doesn't want to be alone without the herd. We have to become the herd for her. That's better. Probably better this time. Good. Not unhappening, not unhappening. Nope. Nope. So if all we do today is go back to the basics of you're not allowed to be on top of me, that's okay. We go backward. You have to work with the horse you have today. Last week we were a lot more. And this is the reason why I often tell people you want to send your horse for training, mostly because it's like, well, if I did this with her 5 days a week, you know, she'd probably be a little bit more over it. But we're gonna get her there. Come on. That's good. And so for her, movement is going to be important because she has a lack of wanting to move forward. She has a stuckness, a stickiness. And so the more forward I can think, the better we are. Yeah. No? None of that. And what's interesting is this is very common, where we start to undo the layers that they've built up. And we usually have a session where I'm like, wow, we have to go back to square one. After we've broken down the layers, because these horses, they hang on to these survival mechanisms so strong because it's in their nature. It's what they were bred to be.
So Josie, when you said if she spooks, you want her more to go forward rather than backward?
Or to the side.
Or to the side? Is that just on the lunge line?
So that's not just on the, I would say that's more on the lunge line. When, you know, if we're leading her and she spooks, I want her to spook away from me.
Yeah.
You know, I want her, all of this that we are doing, okay? Because lunging, I think people get lunging wrong. They think of lunging as chasing a horse around in a circle. Like that's the way that a lot of people see it. I'm not saying that's the way you see it. I'm saying that's just what I normally have to get through to people. All I am teaching her to do by lunging, quote unquote, is to come around me. So to be aware of my area in space, okay? So lunging is all about creating a bend in the horse's body around a focal point, which is you, with their rib cage. And the reason that that's helpful is because then the horse learns to balance itself on a circle. So a lot of what we're doing with horses when we ride them, we have to do a lot of circles. Why? Because that's the only way that we can really be able to get the horse's middle and rib cage, and that's how we have any sense. We really don't have control, but that's how we have any sense of control. If you just try to control a horse through their head, you're never going to get anywhere. You have to control the whole body. So the whole goal of the lunging is get the body under control, and then once we have the body under control and we can straighten the horse, then we can teach them to do more things from that. So let's say we want a leg yield, okay? Well, what is a leg yield good for if you're just going to trail ride or whatever? Well, a leg yield's good because let's say you're going around a tree and you have to move the horse over off your leg to go around a tree or to go around an obstacle or whatever. Whatever you need to do, you need to be able to have the middle of the horse. So really all I'm doing with quote-unquote lunging is I want to teach her to come around me, that when I step into her, she moves away. Now she's got that when I'm close up to her. Okay, she's got that pretty good. She's stepping away from me. But when I go away from her, she's like, where's my safe place? Like this is her having a mentality of a foal. The foals want to huddle up to their mother. They want to run up to the side of their mother. And that's what she's doing. And she's saying, well, I'm scared, so I want to cram up to you. That's okay. Like, I understand it, but you're 1,300 pounds, and you can't step on me. So we have to recalibrate her brain. So the choices that she has, the other thing with her in particular, and I'm just being honest, it's not coming from a place of like negativity in any way. She's very stuck in a not forward state. She does not want to go forward. Why is that a problem? Because when you go to ride, you have to have forward. If you have no forward, you don't have anything. You have no way of, so unless I can teach her brain to think more forward. So some horses, like for instance my gelding, he is way too forward, okay? I have to teach him to come back. I have to teach him to rate himself and slow down. So I'm constantly doing a lot of stops with him. Stopping and backing up, stopping and backing up. Because he wants to go forward. Her, she wants to go backwards. She wants to be planted. So I have to put forward energy. So if she spooks and she goes forward, I'm a little less worried about that as I am if she spooks and she goes backwards or flies sideways, because that is more of an issue of we now don't have, the energy is not flowing from the back to the front. So then when you put a rider on that horse's back, now it's even worse because now you've created a stop in the line of energy because you're sitting on your back. Obviously, you're sitting on your spine. So now there's even less likelihood that she's going to go forward. So unless we fix it now, she's going to have issues going forward on her saddle, which I don't want to happen. So I just have to I first have to get this issue of trust with her a little bit, because right now, she's sort of like, well, you're not my herd. You're not my herd. I don't really trust you to guide me where I want, where I need to go. And I think that we kind of undid some stuff this last week, and now she's like, okay, well, I don't really like that amount of work, she's like, I'm good with no work. Yeah. So now I am going to a little bit, because she's so thinking backwards, try to send her forward. And I'm not really going to care about the bend right now. I'm just going to get her to think forward. Come on. Good. Yes. Because the bend will come once we get forward. And move. But I don't want her to turn in. I want her to stop straight. So you see how she thinks backwards. It's very easy to see how she thinks in terms of going backwards. Better. So I'm going to ask her to walk, and then from my energy, go right back in the top. So I'm shifting gears with her a little bit of let's just get the forward energy created before we try to shape it. Come on. Let's go. That's okay. So we just need to retrain her little brain, which is okay, part of it, but no. She's very worried about everything in here. Which is funny because she lives in here, so it's like,
Any other time, she plays with that big ball all the time. I just find it funny that she's like looking at it.
The reason that she's doing this is because I am affecting her balance. So this is the other thing that people don't realize. Every time you interact with a horse, you are affecting their balance. Your presence affects their balance. So their sense of safety is, can they balance on all four of their legs? So that is their sense of safety. Go right back to the left. And when I do this, with all horses, I don't care what horse it is. That's better. Come on. I'm always like experimenting. So I'm like, oh, well, that didn't work. I mean, everyone's like, training a horse should be the same, you know, for every horse. That's why the Pirelli, to me, doesn't always work. Because every horse is going to be, like, their premise is always good, but to me, they're an individual. So I might have to do something completely different with her that, like I said, that I do with my gelding. So if she's thinking backwards, we're going to really quickly try to get her to think forward again. What I'm noticing with her is that the more forward I send her, the better it gets, the softer she gets. So again, I'd like for her to be bending around me, work a little more on you. So sometimes we go back to the very, very basics when they're very afraid of a certain area in the arena. Here, go. It's your ball. There you go. So that was okay. All right, that was an okay scoop. She didn't go into me. Not like an okay scoop, not what you wanted to scoop, but you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
She's not running me over. The other way that you can fix a horse that's afraid of a certain area of the arena, like she is down here, is to work at the far, or at the end that they want to be at, and to come down and rest down here. Now, I don't love that theory because to me it's sort of like, that seems more like a punishment thing. And I don't really like to have punishment. I really like to have a conversation. Like, check in, can we have a conversation at all parts of the arena? And have you be aware of it. Good. Yeah, good girl. Yeah. Good girl. That's better. So usually I don't like to move around this much with a horse, but in the case with her, I think it's advantageous to think of it more like I'm going with her and we're going more for a walk, we're just doing it at the trot, versus you go around me because she can't hold the line very well yet. Atta girl. And usually I get more particular that she rotates that shoulder, but today I really just want her to go forward. You have to sort of pick your conversations.
Yeah.
You have to say, okay, well, I'm going to work on this today. I might not be able to get everything that I wanted in a session, but today, if we can get this, I'm happy.
And next time, she might be a different horse.
Exactly. That's the thing, is that we have to work with the horse we have today.
Yep.
It's cold, it's rainy.
It's windy.
You're okay. You want to walk over there? She's a 3-year-old, she's the same age. She's half Trijntje, half saddlebred, and they look a lot alike actually, and they have the same problem. It's the same, like, she gets sucked back and wants to not go forward, and then she kind of jumps around, and her energy goes all over the place and kind of ping pongs off of everything. And it's the same, you know, it's a similar issue, and I do think that the Frisian in particular are that way because they've been bred for so much flash in the front end. So they're bred to like have these high shoulder, you know, this high setting, big shoulder movement. And when you get that, it's hard for the energy to come all the way over the top of the neck. And so their energy gets stuck right here at the wither, and that's when they want to stop. Let's go. Lift her up. I know. And this is the other thing. This has worked for her. I guarantee has worked for her in the past, where someone has just not, they've just quit or not made her go forward or what have you. With her previous owner, it's probably, like before you had her, it might have worked for her then to just get boisterous and big. And so like I always say, you know, the horses are working with the, how do I put it? It's like they have adaptations that they have developed to protect themselves. And so I always just say, good for you. That was an adaptation that worked for you, but we're going to learn how to do something different now. Yep. And move that over. Good. And good. And good. Yep. So now she's even wanting to go forward back. That's good. Good. So all of this is all a balance thing. She's like, I lose my balance. I'm sorry, I feel like I've torn up your arena. But I suppose it's what it's for. You guys gotta turn up your mom's arena. Listen. Trying to help you here.
she hasn't showed much signs of relaxation at all.
Yeah,
She's just on edge.
yeah, she just